Riding the wave of the 2026 Grammy Dance Electronic Awards, let's dive into the global trends shaping EDM right now. Honestly, this script took me forever to grind out. In an era where music tech is exploding, the speed at which genres are blending and innovating is just insane. You know the drill. Hit that follow button and drop a like before you dive in. Now, buckle up and let's kick off the first journey of electronic music in 2026. Let's talk about the best dance pop recordings first. What Grammy-caliber producers do best is masterfully dialing in the exact ratio of these electronic elements. The first nominee is a collaborative effort from pop royalty Selena Gomez and hitmaker Benny Blanco, serving up 2026's first dose of Sonic PDA. In this free love album, their track, Bluest Flame, plays around with new disco heavily tinted with French house vibes. Selena's cool, restrained vocals paired with bouncy electronic synths perfectly capture the push and pull of romantic tension. By the second half, they drop the act entirely, fast-forwarding from a subtly sensual disco groove straight into an unapologetic, in-your-face house banger. I mean, what else is there to say? Everyone, please spam, he is so whipped on the screen. Next up is Midnight Sun from Sweden's vocal powerhouse, Zara Larsson. The verse maintains the restraint of Nordic coldness, but the moment the chorus hits, the iconic syncopated shuffle of two, Step Garage detonates, backed by a massive, big room-style kick drum. It's explosive. The whole vibe feels exactly like taking the soul of 90s Eurodance and violently shoving it into 2026 Tesla Motor. The melody is pure retro, but the sheer energy is light years ahead of its time. The pop scene's ultimate athletic powerhouse, Tate McRae, crafted Just Keep Watching for the film F1, a track where every downbeat reeks of scorching tires. High-frequency percussion simulates engine vibration, coupled with a highly kinetic, bouncy bass that delivers the visceral pushback of straight-line acceleration. Tate's inherently textured vocal delivery precisely mirrors the mechanical stutter of a hard gear shift. With Sandpaper Reese bass, this song successfully sonifies the very essence of velocity. Still, I have to admit, it gives off a massive sense of déjà vu, like a leftover cut from a Need for Speed or Fast and Furious franchise. Next up is our Y2K breakbeat darling, Pink Pantheress, with Illegal. This little liquid jungle meets two-step pop, brilliantly samples Underworld's Dark and Long. That brooding, dark synth straight out of the Trainspotting era gets completely softened by her signature, icy, wispy, and effortlessly youthful vocals. She somehow manages to strip the weight right out of heavy EDM, turning it into this zero-gravity, busy, bubble-like experience. In the fragmented and restless drums, like a feather lightly brushing against your heart, the track is just giving major raving under Silk Bedsheets energy, and it's so incredibly effortless. Finally, the crown jewel of the awards goes to pop empress Lady Gaga for Abracadabra, commits to a minimalist yet razor-sharp, dark synth-pop route. Its opening synthesizers are icy, delivering a heavy dose of ruthless industrial aggression, driven by an acid bass line and metallic percussion, literally rattles your ribcage every single second. Gaga in this song showcases an almost god-tier level of dominance on this track. She literally shredded a live solo on a Mini Moog and a Juno synth during her performance. However, that magical abracadabra monologue is so ridiculously brainwashing, it honestly gave me major Apache-level PTSD. Now on to Best Remix Recording. To be honest, this category should be the ultimate flex for EDM producers, but most of the nominations this year were mediocre. Luckily, we still got a few bangers that saved it. Touching a Chemical Brothers classic takes guts. Mess it up, and you literally ruin childhoods. But Chris Lake flawlessly blends that hypnotic Middle Eastern string sample into his iconic tech house rhythm. He dials back that raw, street brawl aggression of the original track, replacing it with an incredibly infectious, dance floor-ready groovy vibe. That insane tempo switch during the breakdown, absolute madness. When the Queen of Whistle Notes meets Groove Maestro Kaytranada, the chemistry is, well, pleasantly comfortable. Kaytranada takes her soulful R&B vocal stems, pours them right over her signature off-kilter, swinging drum loops, injecting this hazy, late-night urban vibe into the classic. But honestly, just giving you my subjective take here, this remix lacks a real wow factor and ultimately feels a bit flat. Ron Trent's nomination is basically the Grammys paying ultimate respect to the roots of the genre. This Chicago house legend takes a 90s classic and completely transports it back to that era of rich, soulful textures. No aggressive, harsh synths here, just delicate percussion and super warm electric piano chords. Honestly, for this one, you just need to close your eyes and feel that organic, breathing vibe of pure deep house. This remix by David Guetta completely strips away the piercing energy of the original. It managed to dodge every single exciting possibility, ending up sounding like a clumsy imitation of Zed, maybe Break Free, or something similar. Honestly, it has that cheap, hollow, AI-generated feel. Hard pass. Huge congrats to the Dark Lord, Gesaffelstein. He stripped Gaga's original track of its pop veneer, leaving nothing but a cold, skeletal, EBM, industrial frame. Dropping the BPM to a suffocating 113, paired with those dark retro synth textures and a minimalist arrangement, creates an incredibly oppressive listening experience. One that perfectly aligns with today's electronic music zeitgeist. The highlight was the ceremony itself. Draped in black and masked, Gesaffelstein didn't utter a single word into the mic. A simple nod was all we got before he vanished. A perfect extension of the track's persona. Best Dance Electronic Recording. It's basically the holy grail for electronic singles, and the competition is absolutely brutal. Disclosure's No Cap is a masterclass in blending house drive with UKG swing. The Disclosure brothers have outdone themselves with the breakbeat syncopation, layering the percussion with glitchy textures and a highly distinctive lead synth that feels incredibly fluid. Topped off with Anderson .Paak's signature smoky and rhythmic soul vocals over a warped bass line, the track oozes that raw, London underground garage grit. Fred Again, latest UK Bass Heater, is a masterclass in how electronic music is merging with hip-hop. It captures the raw chemistry from his livestream jam with Skepta perfectly. Fred's off-kilter drum loops give Skepta's flow an extra edge of aggression, while that grainy, brooding acid bass line literally sounds like a wild night out in London. Featuring his signature non-linear swinging drums and that hazy urban atmosphere, it's light years ahead of that Mariah Carey collab, Space Invader, his Katra bounce in its purest form. Between the warm synth pads, the crunchy retro 8-bit glitches, and that bouncy as hell bass line, the whole track just oozes high-end analog soul. Skrillex's Voltage is the ultimate throwback to my youth. Back in 2011, after his laptop and hard drives were stolen in Milan, many legendary projects seemed lost to time. Now, 14 years later, it has finally received an official release. Skrillex's hairstyle has changed, and the official version has evolved more restrained and mature. It keeps the Brostep skeleton and his signature, Complextro stamps, but the synth sound design is more vintage and high-end. This seamless fusion of 2010's violent aesthetics with 2020's cutting-edge sonic experimentation finally fills the void in our childhood nostalgia. Even though I haven't listened to bass music in years, the moment that drop hit, my eyes welled up. Please put, he's the GOAT. I'm literally crying on the public screen. The psychedelic god Kevin Parker finally pulled through. This track is a masterclass in fusing indie dance with psych-electronic vibes. With a distorted, French touch-inspired bass line paired with his signature, drenched psychedelic vocals, he has mastered that ATS retro-futurism down to the core. The brilliance lies in its unpredictable arrangement, the sudden silence, the unexpected techno rumble, and the bursts of analog synths. In a field of legendary nominees, this win is well-deserved. It sets the tone for the future of electronic music. Genre fluid, sonically vintage, yet minimalist and structurally striking. Best Dance Electronic Album. This is the ultimate masterpiece of the year. Unlike the Best Recording, this award evaluates an album's narrative depth and its overall production cohesion. Fred Again's 2024 album 10 Days serves as a natural extension of his musical diary. It's built on a refined electronic pop narrative using 10 tracks and 10 interludes of live samples to capture 10 raw snapshots of human emotion. He's kept the iconic UKG rhythm and the ambient electronic substrate, but dialed up the melodic flow and vocal collaborations. It feels more accessible and pop than actual life, but keeps a much warmer emotional soul than the high-octane USB, showcasing his mastery in merging pop sensibility with nuanced electronic textures.
Skrillex is dead.
This album is a profound interpretation. He's so ruthless, he doesn't even spare himself. True to its title, it's a subversive act of self-deconstruction in his music career. Within 46 minutes, 34 fragmented tracks collide to form a fever dream of D&B, dubstep, and hyperpop. Through self-deprecating narration, he delivers a satirical counterattack against mainstream labels and the industry machine. On artistic merit and foresight alone, this should be the undisputed album of the year. But when an artist is blatantly calling you out to your face, it's hard for Grammy voters to hand over a trophy while they're busy seeing red. Pink Pantheress Fancy That is a sophisticated continuation of the Y2K aesthetic in 2026. She expertly houses the soul of early 2000s UK electronic, liquid jungle, and breakbeat within a modern bedroom pop framework. Completing a contemporary reimagining of millennial chic through delicate textures, each short track feels like a finely polished piece of cyber amber. For a rough around the edges guy like me, crawling into this pink silk duvet of an album is a tight squeeze, but it certainly has no shortage of devoted followers. Refuse du Soul's Inhale, Exhale is a grand baptism of vital tension, marking their peak crossover between melodic house and techno and indie electronic. Centered on the theme of breath, the album navigates an emotional migration from late-night dance floors to the solitude of the wilderness, all within pristine synth textures and a cinematic soundstage. The production exhibits an epic sense of cohesion, bordering on mixing perfectionism. While it embodies the ideal of beautiful electronic music in an era trending toward the raw and gritty, this level of extreme refinement is sometimes misunderstood as mediocre. Finally, a massive congratulations to FKA Twigs. This album is a divine deconstruction of the dance floor experience. She has manifested a transcendental state called Music Sewer, capturing that visceral shudder of self-consciousness, dissolving. By stitching together the sharp edges of deconstructed club with the industrial hum of hard techno and layering it with her operatic, fractured vocals, she creates a profoundly avant-garde cyber-religious atmosphere. Her victory heralds the official arrival of an era of electronic music that is aggressive, cold, and unmistakably highbrow. Looking back at the 2026 Grammys, the fatigue within global pop music is an undeniable reality. Yet, against this backdrop of mediocrity, electronic music has shown incredible vitality. From EDM embracing the grooves of house and techno, to mainstream pop leaning toward alternative electronic textures, more talents are emerging. The logic has shifted. It's no longer about electronic music struggling to break into the mainstream. It's a silent, hostile takeover where electronic music is becoming the very soul of pop. I remain bullish on the future of electronic music. It is shattering the chains of sound design and genre, and it won't just hold a higher position, it will define the musical aesthetic of the next era. Which Grammy-nominated electronic artist was your personal favorite this year? Let me know in the comments. Follow me to understand the joy of electronic music. See you in the next episode.